So while ESOP is great wealth maker when it clicks, what is the probability of that happening in an average employee's life?
I joined this company UiPath, which is about $70 million ARR, doing robotic process automation. 3 years of time, company reached $1 billion mark, got listed. He will do this, I will retire, and all that shit happened. The stock plummeted $10.
How?
When?
We've all been fed this narrative that you cannot get rich with a salary. You need to own a part of the business, and that part of the business becomes ESOP in the Indian startup ecosystem. Now, sure, ESOP looks great, and every company is out there breaking a part of your CTC down into some part of ESOP as well. So while ESOP is great wealth maker when it clicks, what is the probability of that happening in an average employee's life?
First of all, I think wealth creation through equity, no two doubts about it. But
ESOPs.
ESOP,
Yeah.
right. Probability of becoming successful is less than 5%.
So 95% of
95%
ESOPs,
is notional money, doesn't get you anything. A lot of people could have made a lot of money in Paytm, but we all know that story, right? It hasn't really made so much money for a lot of people out there. So I would say less than 5%. 95%.
Swiggy on the other side, and then Freshworks on the other side, etc., are making people believe that thousands of crores.
There are a handful of companies which
Right.
are making us believe that it is possible, but there is like loads of company which is actually at a notional level.
Got it. So when it does happen, it happens for hundreds or thousands of employees,
Yeah,
but it happens in 5% of companies.
5% of companies.
95% of companies, it doesn't happen. Okay, what do you think?
With salary, you will never be able to create that well in one go. That's a given. We all know that. So, what's the harm of maybe taking that risk by pledging some amount of your salary in ESOPs? With, let's say, only a 5% probability of it realizing, but there is a 5% probability. Do you want to play for it? It's a completely individual choice. I would play for it because I know that there is no other way of creating that money through your salary.
Okay, what's your ESOP story?
My ESOP stories, I got ESOPs when I joined Blinkit. And of course, like I spent 3-4 years there. So every year, some bit of it was added, it's performance pay or other things. But before that, I had like no exposure to ESOPs. So for me also, it was like notional money. Okay, if it works. But at least we knew that company is going to do well. Okay, so I think we were in the right path. So for us, I think that big moment happened when Zomato came into picture and then they acquired Blinkit. So I think a lot of Blinkit employees benefited out of it, and we were offered direct cash. We were not offered Zomato shares. But have been grateful to have been offered Zomato shares and have paid much more money. Some of us were like pretty happy. Okay, अभी घर का लोन पे कर देते हैं थोड़ा वो कर लेते हैं. So yeah, I think in all I'm happy with the ESOP growth which I got from the company. But yeah, could have made more, but there's always what if.
Yeah.
Got it.
What about you, Udit? What's your ESOP story?
So quite unusual. I joined this company UiPath, which is about $70 million ARR, doing robotic process automation. Not many people knew about it at that point in time. The category wasn't existing. Fair. I just went with the flow, got some ESOPs, and on my way, very happy. We were doing very well in terms of revenue. 3 years of time, company reached $1 billion mark, and got listed. That was the moment of truth, right? The stock got listed at about some $56, $57, went until about $90, right? We didn't have a window to sell at that point in time. And there were some stocks which were available to me almost at a very discounted price.
You were able to buy stocks then or get stocks then, or did you already have?
had ESOPs.
I had
You
ESOPs.
already had,
I had
you
some.
could not sell it.
I had some stocks on the joining level, which is at a zero value, which is very less. Well, it won't make much of a difference.
Yeah.
But the stocks that I bought it from my as an ESOP, which I had to pay to the company, was also at a discounted level, which is fair because company got listed at $56 and it went up to $90 and all that. Right? I was very happy about it.
Was it listed on Nasdaq?
This is an NYSE.
Okay.
And which was very happy moment to be in. And there was a black window period, right, where employees couldn't sell their stocks. Like in ESOPs, that's also one thing that in a lock-in you just can't sell it immediately after the listing. So you got to wait. But that window closed down, and then also the stock came at around $65, $70. Good like literally double the money out there. There was a literal euphoria that this is $100 stock. This is a
Amongst
stock.
the employees, amongst the market.
Amongst the employees, there was definitely investment firms which has rating of this stock being buy. I'm a marketer. I think that is one IPO marketing, which is like you got to talk about the advisors and they put up a rating
And
which is
their
buy
rating, yeah.
and hold. So fine, everybody's talking about it. And I don't need money at this point in time. I just let it be. The most important fundamental which I let go of during that euphoria was to really assess the fundamentals of the company. You have a good product, no two doubts about it. You're doing good in revenues, no two doubts about it. You're adding new markets, no two doubts about it. Are you profitable? Are you consistently profitable? Right? How stable are you? Are your TAM increasing multifold, which is not being threatened by certain generational shifts like ChatGPT for that matter? So those are the things that we were not even thinking about it, boss. We were under so much euphoria. Array, $100. There were air missiles, they're like air castles out there. We will do this, we will do this, I will retire, and all that shit happened. The stock plummeted $10.
When?
I think 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Now it is about $10, $12.
Insane. Are ESOPs in startups? And be very honest about it, you've seen the state of startup ecosystem. Don't talk about mature companies that you guys got to be a part of. There are a lot of early stage people using, I know, ESOPs to hand away to their employees and making it a part of their CTC, etc. Now it's when you're saying, okay, you don't think about it as a part of CTC, but when the position of offer letter comes with this baked in, I do see startups using this in a wrong way, in a scammy way.
They are using it as a ploy of like getting talent inside by offering ESOPs. I think that is wrong. I think ESOPs have to be given after a certain stage because then you will become a real stakeholder because you will be privy to a lot of information which a junior guy will not be. A junior guy is not in a decision making capacity. But a senior folk running a company, for that person, ESOPs still matter because that person would know which direction the company is going in, what are the plans. If we are, let's say, diversifying into different lines of businesses, we are acquiring somebody, we have plans of getting sold off, we are going for next round of funding, all that information lies with the senior management. So for a lot of folks, it is important to understand at what stage of your career you are because, and for the companies also who are giving ESOPs, you can't expect everyone to have a owner mindset. People who are beyond a certain level of experience, they would understand it, they would put their heart and soul in it because
Money
your
matters.
stakes are also much higher. In the word, your ability to switch jobs also is much lower because you are at a certain package. So you are also having a longer commitment with the company.
I think the same thing, right? And it also depends. Like if a Series A company giving you so many stock options.
I'm talking about seed companies.
Yeah. So even seed companies like giving
because then
you
the
like,
potential is the highest. No, it's going to
Didn't
go
you do that?
300x.
You offered ESOP options to your employees. How did you do it?
So we actually valued equity way more than I think startups today, at least rolling out these offers, do. We gave ESOPs only to people who were a little tenured already in the organization. So it was never really up for offer up front for in many cases. I would say in 80-90% of cases we didn't offer it up front because we believed in our equity much more than I think startups nowadays do or use it as a ploy. Udit, how should then somebody think about ESOP? So what is that missing gap that's in people's knowledge? I think there is a lot of narrative going from many ends about how you should think about ESOP. So what is the right way?
So my view is to first you understand ESOPs well. What does it really mean and what it can do to you? I think that's very, very important. And ESOP is like an employee stock option plan, which means you can buy an unlisted equity of the company at a reduced price. So in an event of company go public, you already have something which is at a lower value. So your ability to make wealth becomes exponential. And the more runway you have in between, the chances is that the compounding effect will also take in place and the markets would reward you and you will end up making more wealth and more creation for you. Or also sometimes if let's suppose there are certain companies like Swiggy for that matter, you joined 3 months before listing, given thing, right? You're gonna make money, but your gains would be substantially less.
Yeah.
Because the price
Maybe like
is
a
higher.
bonus.
price is higher, discount would be lesser because everybody knows that gonna be making.
You're saying when you spoke about the runway part, you're saying when you join in early, as the company grows in valuation, which venture funded
Yeah,
companies
yeah,
grow
yeah.
exponentially,
Right.
your stock also is likely to grow
Of course.
exponentially. So
Of course.
very high risk, very high reward.
Very, very high
when you
reward.
join in early.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
and there are multiple ways to exit.
And when you join Swiggy pre-IPO, very low risk, barely
Barely rewarded.
The rewards are equivalent to the public.
And also, it is, Abhinav, to your point, there could be multiple ways to even exit. Even you join very early. Let's suppose you join early and you didn't see a runway of IPO for that matter, or you don't have patience for being an IPO. But there is an event of buyback. Now, you actually took a share at 50 rupees. Somebody is willing to pay you 70 rupees back.
So
now,
you sell it in the
you
secondary market.
You sell it back to your own investor.
Got it.
And you earn 20 rupees out of it. Fair enough. Like in his case, Grofers was bought out by Zomato, and then Zomato actually paid out a capital for that premium. They made money. In a way, Grofers didn't go listed, actually, to be very frank. They just got bought out. So there are multiple ways to look at it. But I would still say it's a bet, and you got to take that bet calculatively. What stage of the company you are in? What is the amount of money that you're willing to bet on? Is it part of your CTC? It's part of your wealth. It's very important to separate two pieces out completely. Do not mix that as a part of your salary. If it is part of your wealth, it is part of your wealth. Let it be like that. And then you say, what is my runway? Are you willing to stay in that idea for very long? A lot of startups also give equity as a game of putting your skin in the game.
Right.
Yeah.
And you got to be believing in the idea, right? So just handing over the equity does not mean anything if you don't believe into an idea. A lot of times people might be transitioning between one role to another, or maybe in their careers, right? And to that level, you give it on an equity and the guy does not believe in an idea. Now that equity is completely notional to that person at all. Absolutely.